What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Matty Pace coming at you live from the Matty Mo Show, the host with the most mojo. And today we have our second episode of Life as a Type 1 Diabetic. This one is entitled Adulthood. And if you didn't catch episode 1, go check it out. Broke down the fundamentals of diabetes, what it is, certain things and stigmas around it, and my own personal experience. So that being said, let's move on to episode 2. I posted a status the other day that, asked a question if anybody had questions on type 1 diabetes. So I got this response on the post that I put out, and I want to show it on the screen. So right here, Miss Stephanie Kane, this one is for you. And the comment reads, "My son has type 1 diabetes. How does it affect your adulthood? And I would love to help any way I can. I have a personal experience with a young child." So first and foremost, I want to give a special shout out to Stephanie Kane. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for contributing this question. I can't speak on behalf of all adults, but I can speak on behalf of myself. So that being said, in adulthood, I guess we could consider that 18. I've been on my own since I was 19 years old. And I think that for me, getting diabetes so young at age 4 really did shape the way that I was by the time I reached 18. And I think that the earlier you get it in life, like when you're a little kid like I was, you grow up really not remembering what life was like without having it. So all the habits and, the nutritional habits and just the things that you have going on in life, they're very second nature in a sense. So I think adulthood, you get met with a lot of obstacles, right? Especially when you turn 21, or maybe you're going out and you're partying, maybe you're indulging in drinking and things like that. So type 1 diabetes has affected me in a positive way, in a sense that it has always kind of kept me grounded. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to party a lot. I used to go out to the bars on a regular basis. I used to drink a ton of alcohol. I used to go to house parties. I used to smoke. I used to do all that stuff. And luckily I say, I didn't get any detrimental effects, but there is some things that you should know. So alcohol has a dramatic effect on type 1 diabetics. It hurts our body a lot more than it hurts somebody without type 1 diabetes. And our body is susceptible to so much more in an intense way, from high blood sugars to low blood sugars to how alcohol and food affects us. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but overall, my adulthood has not been affected too heavily, minus always needing health insurance, which I think everyone should have anyways, but I mean, we can all agree that it's not cheap and it's not easy to have good health insurance, and to still see doctors that are covered under your coverage and stuff, I think becomes a struggle. But overall, living with type 1 diabetes as an adult hasn't really affected my adulthood personally in a negative way. If anything, it has helped me do what I do now in a sense by giving diabetes kind of a voice, voicing out certain things like this. In terms of adulthood, I think that it's important to really understand that stress plays a really large role as well in your quality of life and, the quality of your numbers. And in video 1, I talked about the target range for most type 1 diabetics being between 80 to 125 is like the sweet spot. And stress can, cause your sugars to be a little bit erratic and make it a lot more difficult than it should be or has to be with maintaining some good blood sugar levels. So overall, to answer your question, Stephanie Kane, without getting too long-winded, type 1 diabetes, first off, affects everyone differently. But I think whatever habits that you have going into adulthood, you are either going to try to make new habits that are going to better you, or you're going to repeat the same old habits that have kind of, got you to where you are. Now, I'm a firm believer that even though type 1 diabetes is an irreversible disease at this point, it is also imperative that we look at how we can limit the amount that it affects us internally. So as an adult, I think affecting adulthood, it just makes you more aware. You You tend to be more prepared. You tend to think first, where a lot of times when you're younger, you don't really think, you know what I mean? But overall, in adulthood, type 1 diabetes, I think it's very similar to being a child, only you don't have anyone to look after you now and to take care of you. You got to take care of you. You got to make those calls, and you got to, hope that you had some really great guidance. So that being said, type 1 diabetes and adulthood, I think it all comes down to the person and how you handle it. So keep raising that little one with some really good habits, seek good doctor care, and get them kind of, in a world where they feel comfortable about diabetes to the point where they can handle it themselves by the time they're a teenager. And I think that if you continue to do that, your daughter or son or your child in general is going to have a much easier time in adulthood with having type 1 diabetes. So that being said, thank you so much for reaching out again, Stephanie, for commenting on that post. And any of you still watching this, I created this series in order to help raise awareness and answer any questions that you guys have in regards to type 1 diabetes. So please don't be shy. Drop a question below or direct message me. I would love to incorporate your comment on the next video. So that being said, thank you so much. As always, Matty Pace with a type 1 diabetic smile on my face, saying one life, one love. I'm out, baby. Much love. Let's go.